I'm going to go over a very quick demo of Simplicitree and the power that's contained inside of this system. All right, here we go. So we've got an example client, George and Cindy. They're 62 and 58. Doesn't matter if you're single or married. They want to retire in 5 years when George is 67 and Cindy is 63. We have an expectation of $120,000 of retirement income. Few things to note. We are going to take into consideration taxes and inflation over their entire retirement plan. Let me get into a few details of what's very, very important. The first thing that we want to talk about is what we consider above ground investments and below ground investments. So below ground investments are made up of one of three things. Anything that is bank-backed, FDIC insured, government-backed, backed by the full faith and credit of the United States government, or just insured. So if it has one of those three protections, it is going to be considered a below ground investment. Everything else is above ground. All right, doesn't matter what type of investment it is. If it doesn't have one of those three, bank-backed, government-backed, or insured, it is considered above ground investments. This visual over here where you see the tree and this little itty bitty dot on the bottom, it's actually the roots. So what we want to show here is a visual of the investments that you have above ground and the investments that you have below ground. The biggest reason is roots keep trees grounded. And if there's no root, you're going to see lots of fluctuation and you're going to see lots of reason to be concerned because trees can topple if they don't have a root. So what we want to show here is the visualization of just how much investments, just how many of your investments are below ground, keeping your portfolio stable. Now, what I will say, it's reality. It's not good or bad. It doesn't mean you have too much risk or not enough safe investments. All it is a visual of where you are. As long as investments generate income, whether above or below, chances are you'll be okay, but more on that in a bit. Another thing that we like to talk about is what's considered to be principal tax concern. Your principal tax concern is how much of your portfolio is fully taxable in the eyes of Uncle Sam. So in this example, we've got a $990,000 principal tax concern. To put that into perspective, this client has $1.25 million. So $1,250,000 of what they have in their nest egg, and $990,000 of that is going to be 100% taxable in retirement. This means that we should probably have some sort of conversation about your principal tax concern. Are there things that we can do to reduce that heading into retirement or even throughout retirement? Now let's talk about the most important aspects of Simplicitree. The first and foremost is what we consider to be your cumulative income need. Your cumulative income need, if you take your Social Securities, pensions, any amount of monies that you have already coming in the front door, that's going to be represented here in the blue. So 49% of their entire retirement income need is already accounted for. That means 51% of what they need over the rest of their life has to be generated by their nest egg. I call that nest egg income. This is a big concern. So if we look at their investments or their chart over the rest of their life, they've got a little bit of pension income coming in here, and rental property income. They've got some Social Security coming in when Social Security kicks in. They want to live on $120,000 of retirement income, which basically means of the pension and Social Security, it amounts to $70,000 in their first year. They want to live on $120,000. That means they have to generate roughly $50,000 of retirement income starting the first year. And as you can see here, it's going up. It's going up for a few things: inflation and taxation. And as they go and grow older throughout retirement, as you can see, that inflation and taxation wreak havoc on withdrawals over the rest of your life. That means by the time this particular person is in their 80s, they're having to withdraw $117,000 a year, that 1 year, to satisfy the income that they want to live on. Remember, they want a $120,000 lifestyle. By the time they hit their mid-80s, it's $217,000 for the same $120,000 lifestyle today. So accounting for that is a big concern. And what this is showing is exactly what has to happen, very simply, in their plan to make it work. So they have to generate 51% of their entire income over the rest of their life to make it work. Now, in order for that to happen, in this exact example, okay, this particular client's going to need to generate 3.33%. Isn't that interesting how that worked out that way? 3.33% to make sure that their $1.2 million does not run out until they attain their age of death. Now, in this example, what we've used here is 95. I have no idea, you have no idea when you're going to walk out on life, but we use some age so far into the future that most people say, if you get me there, I'm all right. So we've taken them to 95. Now at 3.3%, their $1.2 million is gone. All right? That means they've spent through it all, but it lasted throughout their entire retirement. What I will say is we do run into quite a few people that say, you know what, I want to preserve my principal and live off my interest. So we can very quickly calculate, in this example, it's 4.3%. So if this particular client lived on $120,000, generated all the revenue that they needed, the 51% over the rest of their life, and they averaged a 4.33% rate of return, by the time they walk out on life, they're going to still have the same $1.2 million that they had today. This becomes very valuable information because now you have a goal, a target, some rate of return that you know has to happen for certain things to take place. The last one I'll share with you is what we call your legacy rate. Legacy rate is some value that you want to leave to your heirs, some financial legacy that you desire to leave. In this example, we targeted $5 million. So if they averaged 5.97%, as you can see right here, 5.97%, they're going to leave $5 million when they're 95 and walked out beautifully on Sunset Beach, out on life. Their heirs are going to get to cash in on $5 million of legacy. Now, what I want to share with you very quickly is what we call an investment plan. All right? So I'm not going to go into details of exactly how I invested their money, but one of the things that we teach our clients here is if you want to retire, you need to put your money to work. So we did. Now all their money's invested, and we actually kept the same balance. We didn't change that at all. All we did is put their investments, we invested it in a manner that generates income. What you're going to notice right away is that we solved for the cumulative income need. We generated enough revenue that not only did we account for their 51% income need, but we actually have an excess of 132%. So in their base plan, they had to generate 51%. They needed 3.3% to make it work. Now after we put everything to work, their 3.3%, as you can see here, their 3.3% base of what I originally showed you is now zero. What that basically means is now they don't need any return from any investment as long as it's generating revenue. Their retirement plan is now set. They never have to worry for the rest of their life that they're ever going to run out of money, and it even gets better than that. Because their withdrawal, as you're going to notice here, it was red before. They had to get about $50,000, and remember throughout retirement it went up. In their 80s it was over $100,000. Well, here it's the same revenue of income, but you're going to notice there's an excess of more income that's being generated every single year that's adding to your investments. Your investment income is more than what you actually need to withdraw. So by the time you walk out in life 2055, the same exact age of 95, at a 0% rate of return, instead of being out of money, there would now be $3.3 million. And the reason being isn't because you made some great growth, because you have some amazing financial advisor. It's really because you had more money going into your pool. You had excess income just going onto the side into a bank account earning nothing. And all of that is generated about $3.3 million of excess revenue, assets, pool of money for you to now never have to worry ever again about running out of money. Now, a few other things that I'm not gonna really go into because we're running out of time. If you've got a concern that somebody wants to talk you into buying an annuity, long-term care policy, if you want to know if you should turn on Social Security early at 62 or wait to 66 or 65 or whatever your full-time, or even max Social Security at age 70, you can very easily put that in here, and it's going to show you if your rates of return go up or down, which means your scenario is getting better or worse. As you put in different scenarios, you very quickly can see if it's improving or making your scenario even worse. Then right instantly, in just a few seconds, few minutes, you'll know, hey, this is not good advice for me. This is making my scenario worse. Why would I do this? Or just on the flip side, this is making it better. It took it from a 3% down to 0. This is making a whole lot of sense. What are the risks? What do I need to know about it? Because it's actually making it better. What don't I know? On the flip side, when it's really bad, you don't even need to ask any more questions. It's off the table. It's making your plan even worse. So hopefully you enjoyed this quick demo. If you want to do a Simplicitree plan yourself, just click the link below this video or on the side of this video. We'd love to set an appointment with you so you can have your very own Simplicitree plan.